Welcome to the channel, your ultimate source for in-depth geopolitical analysis. In today's video, we're diving into a major shock to the electric vehicle market. Why Canada decided to follow the US in imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles. This decision is sending shockwaves through the global EV industry, and we're here to break down all the geopolitical implications. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss an update on global events that shape our world. Hold on to your battery packs, folks, because the electric vehicle market just got hit by a tariff tsunami. On May 14th, 2024, Biden announced a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles, a move aimed at protecting American workers and businesses from what the administration views as a growing threat from China in the global EV market, and Canada quickly followed suit. This means Chinese EVs are about to get a whole lot more expensive in North America. We're talking double the price, people. This is a big deal, not just for car buyers, but for the entire global economy. You might be wondering why we are suddenly punishing Chinese electric cars. Well, it all boils down to a little thing called a trade war. The United States and China have been locked in an economic battle for years, and electric vehicles are just the latest casualties. It's like watching two toddlers fight over a toy truck, except this toy truck could save the planet. This tariff war has huge implications. It could reshape the global automotive industry, accelerate the shift to electric vehicles, and even redraw the lines of international alliances. So buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get interesting. This whole situation is a bit like trying to charge your phone with a potato. It's messy, it's confusing, and frankly, it's probably not going to end well. But hey, at least we're talking about electric vehicles, right? That's got to count for something. One crucial detail that has gone under the radar is the pressure Biden faced from domestic automakers who were struggling to compete with the influx of cheaper Chinese electric vehicles. This tariff wasn't just about trade, it was also about leveling the playing field for American companies who've been feeling the squeeze. All right, folks, let's rewind the tape a bit. Let's take a journey back to where it all began. The United States and China haven't exactly been best buddies lately. In fact, their relationship has been quite frosty. They've been locked in a trade war for years, with each side slapping tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods. This tit-for-tat has affected a wide range of industries. It all started under the Trump administration. Remember those halcyon days? The era when America first was the mantra. Tariffs were imposed on Chinese solar panels, washing machines, even steel. These measures were aimed at protecting American industries. China retaliated with tariffs on American soybeans, lobsters, and bourbon. It was a strategic move to hit American farmers and producers where it hurt. It was a full-blown trade spat. Businesses on both sides felt the pinch, and the tension was palpable. Now, President Biden has continued many of these policies, albeit with a slightly different approach. He argues that China engages in unfair trade practices, like stealing intellectual property and subsidizing its industries. These are serious accusations that have long-term implications. He sees these tariffs as a way to protect American jobs and businesses. The goal is to create a level playing field for American workers. Of course, China sees things a little differently. They view these actions as an attempt to stifle their growth. They argue that the United States is just trying to hold back their economic rise. It's a clash of titans, each vying for global supremacy. But here's the thing about trade wars. Nobody wins. It's a lose-lose situation. They just end up hurting businesses and consumers on both sides. Prices go up and choices go down. And in this case, they're also slowing down the transition to cleaner, greener transportation. This is a critical issue in the fight against climate change. Because, climate change doesn't really care about international trade disputes. The planet keeps warming regardless. So why target electric vehicles specifically? What's the strategy here? Well, the United States sees China as a major competitor in the burgeoning EV market. This market is expected to grow exponentially in the coming years. They're concerned about Chinese companies flooding the market with cheap electric cars, undercutting American manufacturers. It's a battle for market share. It's a classic case of economic anxiety fueling protectionist policies. The fear of losing out drives these decisions. But is it the right move? Only time will tell. The stakes are high, and the outcome is uncertain. Now you might be wondering why Canada decided to jump on the tariff bandwagon. just a few months after Biden's announcement. Canada shocked the world by imposing its own 100% tariff on Chinese EVs in August 2024. The question on everyone's mind, why? For Canada, this wasn't just a case of following the US lead blindly. There were deep economic and strategic reasons behind this decision. Well, when the United States sneezes, Canada tends to catch a cold. The economic relationship between these two countries is like a finely tuned machine, where even the smallest change can have significant ripple effects. The two countries are deeply intertwined economically, especially when it comes to the auto industry. This sector is a cornerstone of both economies, providing jobs and driving innovation. They share a free trade agreement, and many car parts cross the border multiple times during the manufacturing process. This intricate dance of parts and labor underscores the importance of maintaining a harmonious trade relationship. So when the United States imposed tariffs on Chinese EVs, it put Canada in a tough spot. The decision was not just about following the US lead, but also about protecting its own economic interests. If they didn't follow suit, they risked becoming a backdoor for Chinese electric cars entering the US market. This could have undermined the US tariffs and strained the relationship between the two countries. Imagine Chinese EVs cruising down the 401 disguised as hockey fans. It sounds amusing, but the economic consequences could be severe. Of course, Canada also has its own economic reasons for wanting to protect its auto industry. The sector is vital for the Canadian economy, providing thousands of jobs and contributing significantly to GDP. They don't want to see Chinese EVs putting Canadian auto workers out of jobs. The potential for job losses is a significant concern for policymakers and industry leaders alike. But there's also a strategic element at play. Aligning with the United States on this issue sends a strong message to China and the rest of the world about the strength of the US-Canada alliance. By aligning with the United States on this issue, Canada is strengthening its ties with its southern neighbor and presenting a united front against China. This unity is crucial in navigating the complex landscape of international trade. However, this decision isn't without its critics. There are voices within Canada that argue the country is compromising its own economic interests to maintain good relations with the United States. Some argue that Canada is sacrificing its economic interests to appease the United States. They believe that the tariffs will hurt Canadian consumers and businesses. They point out that these tariffs will hurt Canadian consumers by driving up the price of electric vehicles. Higher prices could slow the adoption of EVs in Canada, which is counterproductive to environmental goals. It's a classic dilemma balancing economic self-interest with the need to maintain good relations with a powerful ally. The decision to join the tariff fray is a complex one with no easy answers. Global shockwaves. Europe and Asia brace for impact. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this tariff war is about to go global. The United States and Canada slapping tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles is sending shockwaves through the global economy. Europe in particular has found itself in a precarious position as it relies heavily on Chinese-made batteries for its growing EV sector. They're worried that this could be the start of a transatlantic trade war, with the US turning its sights on European car makers next. European automakers, who have been investing heavily in EV technology, are now scrambling to find alternative suppliers. This shift could either accelerate the development of Europe's own battery production capabilities or lead to higher costs for consumers if alternative suppliers can't be found quickly. Meanwhile, Asian countries are caught in the crossfire. Many of them rely heavily on trade with both China and the US, and they're now being forced to choose sides. It's like being stuck in a family feud at Thanksgiving dinner. You just want to enjoy your turkey, but you're constantly being pressured to take sides. This situation highlights the interconnectedness of the global economy. When two economic superpowers start throwing punches, everyone feels the pain. It's a reminder that we're all in this together, whether we like it or not. The big question now is how other countries will respond. Will they retaliate with their own tariffs? Will they try to mediate a truce between the US and China? Or will they simply try to ride out the storm and hope for the best? One thing's for sure, this trade war is far from over. Price hike. Fears. Consumers face electric vehicle uncertainty. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, your wallet. It's no secret that buying a car is a significant financial decision, and electric vehicles are no exception. These tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles are going to hit consumers right where it hurts. The cost of these vehicles is already high, and any additional tariffs will only make them more expensive. Get ready for price hikes, folks. We're not just talking about a few extra dollars here and there. Remember that Chinese EV you had your eye on? The one that seemed like a great deal compared to other options? Yeah, it's about to get a whole lot more expensive. The dream of owning an affordable electric vehicle might be slipping further out of reach for many. We're talking thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars more. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a significant financial burden. Now, the auto industry is a complex beast, and it's hard to say exactly how these tariffs will play out. There are many factors at play, including supply chains, manufacturing costs, and consumer demand. But one thing's for sure, they're going to create uncertainty in the market. Consumers and manufacturers alike are going to be on edge, trying to navigate this new landscape. Consumers might hold off on buying electric vehicles, waiting to see how the situation unfolds. This hesitation could have a ripple effect throughout the industry. This could slow down the adoption of EVs, which is bad news for the environment. The push for cleaner transportation is crucial, and any delay could have long-term consequences. Of course, proponents of the tariffs argue that they'll ultimately benefit American consumers by protecting domestic jobs and fostering innovation. They believe that by imposing these tariffs, we can encourage more local production. They believe that a strong American EV industry is essential for the country's economic and environmental future. A robust domestic market could lead to more jobs and technological advancements. But critics argue that these tariffs will simply make EVs less affordable for the average consumer, hindering the transition to a cleaner transportation system. The increased costs could deter many from making the switch. What's often overlooked is how this could create a two-tier market, where premium EVs from non-Chinese manufacturers become even more exclusive, while budget-conscious consumers may delay their switch to electric. This could inadvertently slow down the fight against climate change, as fewer people can afford EVs. So, what's a budget-conscious, environmentally minded consumer to do? It's a tough spot to be in, balancing financial constraints with the desire to make eco-friendly choices. Well, for starters, don't panic. Take a deep breath and assess your options. The market is constantly evolving, and new opportunities may arise. There are still plenty of great EV options available, even with the tariffs in place. It might take a bit more effort to find the right deal, but it's not impossible. Shop around, compare prices, and don't be afraid to negotiate. Dealerships may be willing to work with you to make a sale, especially in uncertain times. And who knows, maybe this whole situation will light a fire under American car makers, prompting them to innovate and produce even better, more affordable electric vehicles. This could be a turning point for the industry. A man can dream, right? The future of electric vehicles is still bright, and with a little patience and perseverance, you might just find the perfect EV for you. Retaliation and resilience. China's countermeasures. Now, you didn't think China was just going to sit back and take this lying down, did you? This is China we're talking about. They've got a few tricks up their sleeve. We're talking about counter tariffs, folks. China is likely to retaliate with tariffs of their own, targeting key American industries. Think soybeans, bourbon, maybe even those little plastic toys that come in cereal boxes. But China's strategy goes beyond just tit-for-tat tariffs. They're playing the long game, folks. They're investing heavily in their own electric vehicle industry, aiming to become the global leader in EV production and innovation. They're also looking to diversify their markets, reducing their reliance on the US. They're cozying up to other countries, forging new trade deals, and expanding their influence around the world. China's move to deepen ties with emerging markets is a clear signal that it's preparing for a protracted trade conflict with the West. These emerging markets, with their growing middle classes, represent the next frontier for EV expansion, and China is positioning itself to dominate these regions in the years to come. China is like that friend who always has a backup plan. They're adaptable, they're resourceful, and they're not afraid to play hardball. So, while these tariffs might sting in the short term, they're unlikely to derail China's economic ambitions. In fact, they might even make China stronger in the long run. It's a classic case of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And in this case, it might make you a global electric vehicle superpower. The geopolitical ramifications of these tariffs go beyond just economics. The US and Canada's decision to impose such steep tariffs on Chinese EVs signals a hardening stance against Beijing, which could lead to a new chapter in the global power struggle. This could redefine alliances and trade partnerships across the world. As North America and China continue to clash, other countries are watching closely. Nations like India, Brazil, and those in the EU might be forced to choose sides or find themselves caught in the middle of this geopolitical struggle. The decisions made today could shape global power dynamics for decades to come. The 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles by the US and Canada are more than just a trade issue. They're a pivotal moment in the ongoing geopolitical power struggle. As we've explored today, the implications are vast, affecting everything from global trade to consumer prices and international relations. The world is watching, and so should you. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment with your thoughts. How do you think these tariffs will shape the future of the global EV market? And as always, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the events that shape our world.